You may have first heard the name Antone Melton-Meaux in a series of political ads running the last few weeks.
The Democrat is challenging well-known incumbent Ilhan Omar in the August primary in Minnesota's 5th Congressional District. His ads are paid for with some of the $3.2 million he's raised in the last 3 months. It's 6 times more money than Omar raised in the same period. Only on WCCO, I had a chance to sit down with the political newcomer who has a number of prominent Minnesotans backing him.
This is the family.
The Meaux family can trace their roots to a momentous day on a Kentucky plantation in 1820.
The slaves were freed, given land and tools to work the land. That slave owner's name was John Meaux. I'm one of the descendants of the slaves of John Meaux.
Antone's father, Clement, was a paratrooper in Vietnam who received the Purple Heart and Bronze Star.
From the shrapnel in the bunker, it was a grenade.
And he lived through that?
He lived through that. Everyone else in the bunker died. He was the only one who survived.
Melton-Meaux explained his family history in his Minneapolis home with his wife and 2 children who attend Minneapolis public schools. Most of his answers would steer back to local political issues. It's not a coincidence. He's trying to draw a sharp contrast to his opponent, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Melton-Meaux calls Omar divisive and says Omar is out of touch with her district.
It's not time for someone who wants to be a celebrity. It's time for someone who wants to do the work. It's not time for someone who wants to burn bridges. It's time for someone who wants to bring people together to get things done.
Meaux points to the day after George Floyd died.
I was there protesting and marching and speaking out, and I believe she was launching her book tour that evening, if I can recall, virtually, instead of being with the people. I think that's important.
Before we get to your book,
Omar did do a virtual book tour that day, but her campaign says she attended protests nearly every night and spoke at multiple rallies.
When I was young, my father sat me down for the talk.
Melton-Meaux says his tone and demeanor will also separate him from Omar. He's an attorney who runs his own mediation law firm.
And what I do every day, Frank, is to work with people who are in deep disputes, and we do the hard work of listening to each other, finding points of commonality, creative solutions, and then getting things done.
Others are listening too. Several prominent Minnesotans are endorsing him, like former U.S. Attorney Andy Lugar, former Medtronic CEO Bill George, civil rights activist Nikema Levy-Armstrong, Golden Valley Mayor Shep Harris, and civil rights activist Josie Johnson.
Not only is a good father, but a good husband, good citizen, one who listens. That's what's been very impressive to me. He's a listener.
Recent events have forced the campaign to pivot, but he thinks that's actually an advantage.
COVID-19 and the murder of George Floyd hasn't taught us anything. It's taught us that leadership matters, and it's never mattered more. And that is very clear to me, that people understand that message and they see it in my campaign.
We should mention some of that story was shot before the pandemic began and some after. Senator Bernie Sanders today endorsed Representative Omar's re-election bid. In addition to Melton-Meaux, 3 other Democrats are challenging her: Les Lester, John Mason, and Daniel McCarthy. Links to all of the candidates' websites are on WCCO.com. Early voting is now underway. Congresswoman Omar will join Esme Murphy live this week on WCCO Sunday morning at 10:30.